Moses and the Burning Bush, Part 1, A Life in the Desert. Good evening, dear listener. As you ease into the quiet of the night, let your shoulders soften, let your breath slow, let your body rest deeply against the pull of the earth. Tonight we return to the sand and sun, to wide skies and dry wind. This is the story of Moses, not the one who parts seas, not yet the one who leads thousands, but the one alone in the desert, watching sheep, walking in silence, learning how to be still. It had been many years since Egypt, many years since the palace, since the rush of power, since the mistake that changed everything. Moses had run, not just from Pharaoh, but from himself. He had once been part of two worlds, a Hebrew child raised in Pharaoh's court. But when he tried to defend his people, when he acted in anger, everything broke. So he fled, far from the pyramids, into the land of Midian. There he met Zipporah, his wife. There he became a shepherd, not a warrior, not a prince, just a man with a staff, a flock, and the sky. Day after day he walked the hills, watched the sheep, learned the rhythm of quiet things, and maybe he thought that was the end of the story. Maybe he believed the calling had passed him by. But God was not finished, not even close. Let that truth settle with you now. Even in silence, your purpose waits. Even in stillness, you are being prepared. Part 2. The Mountain of God. The sun rises slowly over the desert. Soft light spreads across sand and stone. The sheep graze quietly. The wind hums low through the brush, and Moses walks alone, his staff in hand, his thoughts as wide as the sky. On this day, he leads the flock further than usual, to the edge of the wilderness, to a place called Horeb, the mountain of God. Not a place he'd known well, not one with signs or noise, just rock and silence. But something draws him, and as he walks, he sees it. A bush, ordinary at first glance, dry branches, rough bark, but it burns. Flames curl around the leaves, bright and alive, but the bush does not burn up. The fire glows steady, not wild, not destructive, just there. Moses stops. He watches. His brow furrows. His feet shift on the stone. I will go closer, he says to himself, to see this strange thing, why the bush is not consumed. So he steps forward, closer to the flame, closer to mystery, and then a voice. Moses, Moses. He freezes. Here I am, he answers, not knowing who speaks. Not yet, but something in the voice, something deep, makes the air feel sacred. Let that moment settle in you. Sometimes the most holy things begin with a whisper. Sometimes fire shows up, not to destroy, but to call. Part 3. Take off your sandals. The flame glows steady. The voice returns. Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Moses stops, slowly kneels. His fingers untie the straps. He places his sandals on the sand, bare feet on warm earth, heart pounding, breath still, and then the voice speaks again. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Moses hides his face, covers it with his hands, not out of fear alone, but awe. The God of his ancestors, the God of stories whispered around fires, the God who walked with nomads, wrestled with Jacob, promised stars to Abraham, now speaking to him, a shepherd, a man who ran, a man who failed, and yet here, let that moment rest in your chest. God doesn't wait for perfect places or perfect people. He shows up in the desert. To the man who thought he was forgotten, he calls from flames that do not consume, because sometimes what feels like the end is actually holy ground. Part 4. I have seen, I have heard. The voice continues, not with thunder, but with tenderness. I have surely seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries, and I know their pain. Moses listens, motionless. I have come down to rescue them, the voice says, to bring them to a good land, a spacious land, flowing with milk and honey. The desert breeze softens, the fire dances without heat. And now, Moses, the voice says, I am sending you to Pharaoh. Silence. Moses' heart stirs. His eyes rise, then fall again. He doesn't feel ready. He doesn't feel worthy. Who am I, he says, that I should go? And God answers, not with flattery, not with a long list of his strengths, but simply, I will be with you. That's it. That's the promise. Not ease, not clarity, but presence. I will be with you. Let that settle in you tonight. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the smartest. You just have to listen, to take off your sandals, to answer when called, because you're not going alone. Part 5. What is your name? Moses listens, but questions still rise in his heart. He shifts in the dust, looks up at the flame and asks softly, suppose I go to the Israelites and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I tell them? The fire flickers, but it does not fade, and the voice answers, calm, clear, eternal, I am who I am. Tell them I am has sent me to you, a name like no other, not tied to time, not tied to place, just I am, being itself, existence that never ends. Tell them the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has sent you. This is more than a mission, it's a return, a reconnection to a promise made long before Moses was born, a promise still burning. But Moses hesitates. What if they don't believe me? What if they won't listen? And God, so patient, asks Moses, what is that in your hand? Moses looks, a staff, simple, used for walking, herding, nothing special. Throw it down, God says, and when he does, it becomes a serpent. Then, pick it up, and it becomes a staff again. Let that image rest with you. God doesn't start with what you lack. He starts with what's already in your hand. Even the simple things can be signs of something great. Part 6. Send someone else. Moses holds the staff again, but doubt still lingers. What if I'm not good with words? I'm slow of speech, slow of tongue. His voice wavers. His hands tighten around the wood. The fire crackles, but the voice is steady. Who gave humans their mouths? Who makes them speak or stay silent, see or be blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go. I will help you speak. I will teach you what to say. Still, Moses lowers his head. A long pause, and then the words spill out. Please send someone else. The silence that follows is different. Not cold, not angry, but heavy. The fire flickers deeper, and God responds, "Your brother Aaron. He speaks well. He is already on his way to meet you. He will speak for you. I will speak to both of you." Then God says, "Take this staff in your hand. With it you will do signs." The fire burns on, the voice fades, and Moses, still barefoot, still unsure, takes the staff, stands tall, and turns back toward Egypt. Not because he feels ready, but because he's been called. Let that settle in your chest tonight. God doesn't wait for perfect confidence. He moves through willing hearts, even trembling ones. Part 7. Return to Egypt. The fire fades behind him. The mountain grows smaller, but the voice stays with him, in his chest, in his breath. Moses walks back through the desert, back toward the life he left behind. He returns to Jethro, his father-in-law, asks for his blessing to go. And Jethro, wise and kind, says simply, "Go in peace." So Moses gathers his things, his staff, his sandals, his wife Zipporah, his sons, and together they begin the journey. The road to Egypt is long, but the sky feels different. Open, purposeful, and then on that road he sees a figure, Aaron, his brother, coming to meet him. They embrace. Years apart melt in a moment. Moses tells Aaron everything, the voice, the fire, the call, and Aaron listens and believes. Together they go to the elders of Israel. They speak the words God gave. They show the signs. The staff becomes a serpent. The hand changes and is healed. The people listen. They bow low. They begin to hope again. Let that rest with you. Sometimes the road back is the hardest one to take, but with each step, God walks beside you, and the people waiting in sorrow, they might just be ready for light. Part 8. Before Pharaoh. The gates of Egypt rise ahead, tall, carved, watching. Moses has passed through them before, as a prince, as a runaway. Now he enters again, as a messenger, a servant of the I Am. Beside him, Aaron walks tall. Together they stand before Pharaoh, the ruler of the land, a man dressed in gold, eyes sharp, voice cold, and Moses speaks, not with thunder, not with anger, just the words he was given. "Let my people go." Pharaoh leans forward. "Who is the Lord," he says, "that I should obey him? And I will not let Israel go." The court is silent. The moment hangs heavy, but Moses and Aaron do not step back. Aaron throws down the staff, and it becomes a serpent. Some of Pharaoh's magicians do the same. Their staffs turn too. But then Moses' serpent swallows theirs. Still, Pharaoh's heart does not soften. Instead, he makes life harder for the Israelites. He orders more work, less rest, more burden. The people cry out, not just to Pharaoh, but to Moses. "Why have you come? You've made it worse." And Moses turns to God. "Lord, why? Why did you send me?" And God answers, "Now you will see what I will do." Let that settle gently into you. Obedience doesn't always bring instant ease, but it always moves something deeper. Sometimes the heart hardens before it opens. Part 9. I will be with you. The days that follow are hard. Moses walks through confusion. The people question him. His own heart begins to doubt, but God speaks again. Not in fire this time, but in quiet reassurance. I am the Lord. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. I made a covenant with them, and I have heard the groaning of my people. I will bring them out. I will rescue them. I will redeem them with outstretched arms. Moses listens. The words fill his chest like a rising tide. Still, when he speaks to the people, they don't hear. Their hearts are too tired, too worn. But God tells Moses, "Go again to Pharaoh." And again Moses answers, "I have faltering lips." And again God reminds him, "I will be with your mouth." There is no new sign, no fresh miracle, just a repeat of the same promise. I will be with you. And so Moses stands again, not because he feels strong, but because he is held. Because trust is not always a shout. Sometimes it's a whisper, spoken with trembling hands. Let that truth rest with you tonight. You don't need loud faith. You need steady steps. You don't need to know the end. You just need to keep going with the one who walks beside you. Part 10. The Call That Burns On. The desert wind moves softly. The stars shimmer over the sleeping land. Moses stands at the edge of the night, the staff in his hand, the weight of his calling in his chest. He does not yet know the plagues will come, or the Red Sea will split, or that he will lead a people for 40 years through wilderness and wonder. But he knows this: God has spoken. God has seen, and God is not silent. The burning bush was not just a sign. It was a beginning, a quiet moment of fire and voice in the middle of nowhere for a man who thought he had been forgotten. And now Moses knows he is not alone. He is not too late. He is not too broken. He is chosen. He is called. And so are you. As you close your eyes tonight, remember the fire still burns, not to consume but to call. And maybe your wilderness, the quiet, the waiting, the wondering isn't wasted. Maybe it's the mountain. Maybe it's the place where you hear your name. So rest now. Let the voice settle over you like soft rain. You are seen. You are known. You are being led. The bush still burns, and the story, your story, is just beginning.